This is the day we have been given. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our service, wherever and whenever you're joining us. My name is Carrie Borkowski, and I'm a member of the Parish Committee. Now, we have added a little bit of tech at the church, and so Pam and Beth can see everybody. So if you're willing and able, we would love it if you could go ahead and put on your video so we can see your bright and smiling faces this morning. So let me put that, share some calendar with you. Hold on one sec. All right, super. All right, so this week we have a lot going on. We have the Monday night meditation, so hopefully some of you can join us for that. And we wanted to remind you that next Sunday we have All Souls service. It will be outdoor and in person, weather permitting. And so we're asking that you please send Pam any names of loved ones who have died since last year's All Souls Day. And if you want, please bring pictures of loved ones to the service. I believe we'll have a place for them to be pinned up. We also wanted to remind you that we'll be doing a cleanup on the Saturday of the Memorial Garden. So if you'd like to join us for that. In addition, this week we're lucky to have the RE is doing both the Tuesday evening with the younger kids and Thursday evening with the older kids. So if you have not signed up for RE and you'd like to join, please do. I can tell you it's been great. My kids are a part of it and they have really enjoyed the conversations they've had with the teachers. We will also have our regular choir rehearsal on Sunday in the morning and then followed by the All Souls Day service outside. And of course, we will still continue today and as well as next Sunday to have the Love Shows Up for Justice at 3 o'clock. So if you have any questions about that, you can reach out to Jean Schildnick. Right, so, great. At the heart of our life together is a promise of how we will be together. Our covenant expresses this promise, and we say it every week to recommit ourselves to live together in love. So let us say it together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to cherish the living earth, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. Each week, we light a candle, which we call a chalice. For the container which holds it, the chalice and its light reminds us of many things. The light of truth, the circle of love which holds each of us, the light which shines within each of us. Today, we light it as a reminder of the light which dispels fear, using words written by UU minister Andrew Pakula. In sightless night, terrors draw near, nameless fears of talon and tooth. Hopelessness yawns before us, an abyss. Alone and unknown in the gloom, longing for the dawn. O sacred flame blaze forth, wisdom brought to life. Guide us with the light of hope, the warmth of love, the beacon of purpose and meaning, because we are all afraid of the dark. Let there be light.
The chalice is now lit at First Parish. I invite you, wherever you are, if you have a candle, to light it, hold it up so we can see it, And if you'd like, write in the chat where you have lit your candle.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We need some help from you now. Come on, Scooby-Doo, I see you, pretending you got silver. You're not fooling me, 'cause I can see the way you shake and shiver. You know we got a mystery to solve, so Scooby-Doo, be ready for your act. Don't hold back. And Scooby-Doo, if you come through, you're gonna have yourself a Scooby snack. That's a fact. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, here are you. You're ready and you're willing. Scooby, if we can count on you, Scooby-Doo, I know we'll catch that feeling.
I bet our sanctuary has never seen anything like that before. But our annual Halloween Sunday is usually a first. In years past, we've had services on witches, vampires, the Twilight Zone, and Stranger Things. It's a time for us to play with popular culture, but also to look at the deeper fears they may represent. So today, as the 50th anniversary of the ending of Scooby-Doo comes around, we look at that children's cartoon. The original series ran only from September 13th, 1969 through October 31st, 1970. But in my memories of Saturday morning cartoons, it is always Scooby-Doo that I was watching. Though the plots were the same each week, still I was drawn to it to figure out who the villain was and to wait to see what scary thing would happen next. I didn't know that I was absorbing values as well. Today we'll explore those values and what they say to us in our fears today. Let's begin our worship by grounding ourselves in the beauty of this natural world. Our opening hymn uses the tune of Morning Has Broken, but with new verses for the autumn. As you sing, I invite you to find beauty not only through the words and Beth's music, but also through the images that Beth has put together for it. Let's now sing our opening hymn.
Morning has broken like the first morning. Geese have awoken, distant but heard. Praise for the winging, praise for the morning, praise for life springing fresh from the word. Sweet is the autumn, golden before us, as the bright leaves fall from the dark trees. Praise for the beauty of the rich harvest. Praise for God's whispers on the cool breeze.
To remind ourselves of the beauty which surrounds us and grounds us. But grounding isn't the same as permanence. Nothing stays the same. The autumn especially reminds us of the necessity and beauty of change. So if you'd like to keep your eyes open during this prayer time, I invite you to ground yourself in change. Look outside at the autumn landscape, or look inside at something of the season you might have near you, and contemplate the change that death offers as well as life. As Langston Hughes wrote, "Dear lovely death, that taketh all things under wing, never to kill, only to change into some other thing, this suffering flesh to make it either more or less, but not again the same. Dear lovely death, change is thy other name." Let us open our hearts to mystery. O you whose love is eternal, even as our perception and our understanding of that love is always changing, we come together today, as always, with our hopes and our fears for change. We are human. We fear the final change of death, and we fear all the little deaths, the griefs and losses along the way. Help us to remember that change also leads to new life, that without change we would not be able to create beauty or to appreciate it. And as we hope for changes to come in our world, help us to remember that change is a process. We hold in our hearts today all who are dealing with the change that is loss, for all who are grieving for loved ones who have died, for all who have lost loved ones to COVID, for all who are grieving losses of jobs, of homes, of security, of plans. We pray that they may work through these losses and find new life and growth, new signs of love within the process and on the other side. We give thanks for this beautiful autumn, showing us the beauty of change. And we give thanks for other signs of change that is new life and greater life, for changing children, changing knowledge, changing abilities. We pray for our country as we prepare for this time of election, that we may appreciate one another in our needs, in our fears, in our hopes, and in our dreams, and that we may work together to create a country and a world where all are valued, where everyone's needs are met, and where all live together in peace and in equity. And even though we know that the fullness of this change lies far off, help us to commit ourselves to be part of that process, part of the realization of the greater life which could be for each of us and for all. In silence now, let us take time for our own prayers, our own hopes, and our own dreams. May the peace of this time remain with us in the days to come. Let us now sing the final verse of the autumn version of Morning Has Broken.
Mine is the sunlight, mine is the evening, dawn sky and sunset.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We need some help from you now. That song summoned children, along with the detective dog and his human companions, to 25 episodes of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Unlike other theme songs, which tell us something about the characters we're about to see, this song tells us nothing. It doesn't even tell us that Scooby-Doo is a dog. Instead, it sets us down in the middle of a problem that needs to be solved. We need some help from you now. And who is this we? Is it just the teenage detectives? Or do we have a problem that needs to be solved? Because there were a lot of problems that needed to be solved in 1969 when Scooby-Doo became a part of Saturday mornings. 1968 had been one of the hardest years our country ever lived through. Protests against the Vietnam War increased. Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert F. Kennedy had been assassinated. Women marched for equal pay and equal rights. Olympic medal athletes were stripped of their medals for raising their fists at the award ceremony when they protested violence toward and poverty among African American people. Scooby-Doo was created in a climate of culture wars and real wars, reports of death and violence on the nightly news, poverty, economic disparity, and hopelessness. Sound familiar? And into this climate came the dog Scooby-Doo and his human partners Daphne, Fred, Shaggy, and Velma. Each week, the gang would stumble upon some strange happening as they drove around in their van, the Mystery Machine. It might be a suit of armor which walked, a haunted pirate ship, the ghostly Miner 49er, and with a combination of Daphne's courage, Velma's intelligence, Fred's ingenuity, and Shaggy and Scooby's mishaps, they would figure out what was going on. Never the supernatural cause, it seemed at first. The ghosts, ghouls, and monsters were always tricks crafted by greedy men, mostly, looking to scare others away from a source of riches, land for development, art forgeries, bank safes. And each week, as the villain was unmasked and his plot revealed, he would snarl something like, "I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids and your dog." So what does this show have to say to us today? First, meddle. Don't walk away from what seems to be other people's problems. Don't be scared off. Don't think problems are too big for you to solve. Use your brain, use your ingenuity, have courage, and count on a little luck. Even when things seem to go wrong, they can still go right. Second, don't work alone. If you go off alone, you're sure to get trapped in a coffin or a mummy's case by the ghoul. Always stick together. But don't just stick together with people like you. Fred, Shaggy, Daphne, and Velma are not a natural friend group. They represent different types who wouldn't ordinarily even sit at the same lunch table, much less ride in the same van together. Daphne, the queen bee, mean girl, and Velma, the nerd, her natural prey. Fred, the young Republican, and Shaggy, the goofy stoner. It's a sign of how desperate things are that they're working together. Today, their images would be more diverse, but for their time, they represent different groups who might usually be opposed, all on the same side. And each week, the mystery can't be solved without all of them working together. Third, people and relationships come first. The villain is always the one putting greed above the needs of others. Sometimes that means he's trying to swindle a farmer out of his land, which is worth more than the farmer realizes. Sometimes it means he's trying to take shortcuts to be more efficient and expedient, and then things don't work out well. The human touch and human care are what matter, not money, property, or self-advancement. And fourth, look beyond the surface. Just because the bank manager is a paternal white-haired man in a big house doesn't mean he's not robbing the bank. Just because the director of the art museum has a prominent position in town doesn't mean he's not creating forgeries in the basement. But similarly, just because a woman is attractive and stylish, it doesn't mean she's not also brave. Or just because a man is a jock, it doesn't mean he can't also be an ingenious engineer. Or just because someone dresses differently, it doesn't mean he isn't compassionate. Or just because someone is female, it doesn't mean she can't study science and history. Each week, Daphne, Velma, Fred, and Shaggy reminded viewers that the world isn't what it seemed. That maybe you couldn't always trust those in power to act with justice and mercy for everyone, but you could trust your own mind and your own reason, and you could find other people whose strengths would work with yours to unmask evil and bring good into its place, and you could trust your own abilities even if they weren't what the world valued or noticed about you. So though it brings in ghosts and monsters and aliens, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Was a humanistic program grounded in the ability of human beings to know right from wrong and to work to strengthen the right. Nothing is foreordained. With a questioning mind, a willingness to investigate, some companions, and Scooby snacks, Shaggy, Fred, Velma, and Daphne could solve anything. And so can we. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, happy Halloween. Before we sing our closing hymn, I want to give you a little background on it. The words are from a poem by Rachel Bates, an English poet of the early to mid-20th century. And she wrote this poem during the blackouts and bombings of World War II. So those windows that we will sing about that are blackened are purposely covered not to let the light show against the air raids. So this is a poem of great hope that someday she and others would again enjoy windows that were open to the world and glowing with light. They would enjoy skies swept of the airplanes which brought war and bombs. The music for this setting of the words was written by the UU musician Jason Shelton after September 11th. He responded to the hopeful vision of the words then, and I offer it to you today as a reminder of hope and sign of peace. Let us now sing our closing hymn, When Windows That Are Black and Cold.
Darkness come once more.
Our service is ending, but our opportunity to serve, to make change, to meddle for good awaits. One of the ways we in this church work for good is by putting our money into organizations which do that work. As always, I invite you to support the works of First Parish, but today, on our fourth Sunday of the month offering time, I invite you as well to support the work of the UU United Nations Office. Through education, advocacy, and action, the UU United Nations Office provides a global voice for UUs in the United States, Canada, and beyond. Information on how to donate will be posted during Beth's final music piece. And now, in your goings out and in your comings in, may you not fear the darkness. May you know that the darkness as the light holds the love, holds each of us. May the darkness offer you rest, even as the light offers time for action. And may, in darkness and in light, may you rest in the love which holds us all. Go in peace.